Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and welcome to Command Power, the show in which we discuss all things Magic the Gathering with a focus on Commander. And today we have another episode in our Spoiler Spotlight series in which I talk about, well, spoilers and tell you what my thoughts are on them. But before that, just a quick reminder to click subscribe if you enjoy my videos. We're well on our way to 1 million subscribers and your support means everything to me. And today we're going to be talking about Everybody Lives from the Doctor Who set. For 1 colorless and 1 white, it's an instant that says all creatures gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Players gain hexproof until end of turn. Players can't lose life this turn, and players can't lose the game or win the game this turn. So this is a super interesting design and a super powerful variant, in my opinion, on the classic kind of protection spells such as Teferi's Protection or Clever Concealment. It's a new twist. All of these spells are slightly different, which I like. There's not necessarily one that's always best in every situation, and this is just a new addition to that. There's a few things that this does that I think are quite unique and interesting. First off, I like the wording and the fact that it doesn't just say if a player's life would be reduced to 0, it gets reduced to 1 instead. Life totals can't change at all as long as you've cast this. That means that if you were at 20 and somebody was just throwing a huge spell or a bunch of damage at you, then you can just use it to negate all of that damage instead of just staying at a low life total like 1 and then having to dig yourself out of that grave. That means that the card is a lot more powerful at protecting you when you're at a decent life total than it would otherwise be. Now, I think a lot of people will look at this and immediately think, oh, it's not one-sided. That means that it's not as good as some of those other effects in certain situations. And while that is kind of true, costing 1 mana less than most of the effects is a big deal. And not only that, it's actually not as bad as it looks if you think about it. If somebody's about to kill you with an attack, they're probably swinging most of their creatures at you. So you playing this to stop yourself from dying doesn't really affect the other people at the table that much. You're not really saving anybody else 90% of the time, unless somebody's swinging to kill multiple people at once, at which point you still want to stay alive, so it's not really that much of a downside. The other thing that I think is interesting about this is that it's really good both when you're ahead and when you're behind. If you're like massively ahead and somebody tries to wipe the board, again, you're not going to care about your opponent's creatures staying alive too, because you're already really far ahead. Obviously, in that situation, it's better to have a one-sided protection spell, but this offers so much versatility that I think it compensates for that. But what about when you're behind? Well, as we've mentioned, when you're behind, this is also very good. But the part that is good when you're behind is the one where you get to survive and negate the damage and live another turn and try to find an answer that's going to let you get back into the game. Obviously, the board wipe protection part of it is not very good when you're behind, seeing as if you had a worse board than everybody else, you want the board to be wiped. But having all these different options and flexibilities and ways to use it is just what makes this card very good, and for only 2 mana, that's a steal. But not only that, there's also a political aspect to it. You can play this in a kind of group hug or a kingmaker kind of deck, and it's going to be really powerful because you can make deals with people. You get to protect all creatures, which sometimes might affect another player, but it might allow you to make an alliance with that player and be like, hey, I'll cast this, but later on you need to attack someone else, and we only attack each other when we're the last 2 left or whatever. Just that kind of political backstabbing and scheming that is integral to a game of Commander. If you love that kind of stuff, then this card is going to be finding its way into a lot of your decks for sure. In any case, it's a great new addition to the format, and I hope it's not too expensive because I want to put this in a bunch of different decks. So there you have it. Those have been my thoughts on this new spoiler. What do you think about this card? Please let me know in the comment section below. I read all comments and respond to all of them too. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like or subscribe. It really helps the channel. And until next time, take care.
Woo!